Duran Haber cut Soukalova's point lead in half in Oslo for the overall, but still has her work cut out to steal the globe in the final weekend. The 2016 BMW IBU World Cup Biathlon lands in Siberia for its final stop in Khanty-Mansiysk, Russia. Today, it's the women's 7.5-kilometer sprint, the final one of the season, and a sprint season globe is up for grabs as well. It's coming up. Welcome everyone to continuing live English commentary of the BMW IBU World Cup Biathlon. I'm Chad Salmela, happy to be with you again. The focus goes from World Championship medal to World Cup Crystal, the Crystal Globes, for season's best athletes. It's all getting decided here on the final weekend of World Cup Competition 2016 in Khanty-Mansiysk, Russia, in the middle of Siberia. We're glad to have you here as we see Karin Oberhofer getting ready for her competition, as well as the French coaches. Today it's the sprint competition, the final one of the season. The story really, the Crystal Globes for the overall World Cup. Right now in this discipline, we'll talk sprint discipline first. Gabriela Soukhalova holds a 54-point lead over Marie Duran-Haber. Now, she's got 1 day to make up 54 points, knowing that the win takes 60, that she can tie if Duran-Haber wins and Soukhalova scores no points, meaning Soukhalova would have to finish outside the top 40. Her worst finish this year, 11th. Looking pretty good for Gabriela Soukhalova to take that Crystal Globe in the sprint. However, an entire weekend of competition opens the door a bit. So while Soukhalova can take the sprint globe today, she led by 135 points over Duran-Haber going into the Oslo World Championships, as we see Laura Dahlmeier preparing for the sprint competition. Duran-Haber now leads by only 69 points. She cut that lead in half in Oslo. So the next 3 days of competition for the women could be decided. If Soukhalova falters at all and Duran-Haber continues her golden ways, we could see a toppling of the World Cup #1 Soukhalova from the entire season. Alexander Popov in the Russian outfit, the former Belarus athlete now coaching in Russia. Roar Himla, the coach of Norway, in your shot. Anticipation for this final World Cup week, and you can see that it's far from spring in Khanty-Mansiysk. Still cold temperatures as Lisa Hauser prepares for her trip around this 7.5-kilometer course. The Norwegians, a very successful World Championships by all accounts. It's so much pressure to compete in your home stadium for the World Championships and come away successful. And the Norwegians coming off a very successful women's campaign, to say the least. The women really not marked to win a single medal. They won the relay, as well as Tiril Eckhoff's gold medal performance in the sprint competition, a big surprise. So the Norwegians coming off a great week and a half in their home World Championships. Another competitor to watch for today, Laura Dahlmeier of Germany. If you consider that she's currently ranked 5th in the overall World Cup, as you see her fans, or Russian fans who like Laura Dahlmeier. She's just 22 years of age, and she lit up the World Championships. Earlier, the athletes checking in, Ekaterina Yurlova, the world champion from last year in Kontiolahti, did not repeat as world champion. She'll get at the start today. Yurlova, as well as Dorothea Virer, the world #3. And there's Laura Dahlmeier, currently sitting 5th in the World Cup after missing 3 World Cup stops. So Dahlmeier, really, if you look at the number of wins that she's had and the number of podiums she's had, she's equal with anybody, including Soukhalova, but she gives away points. As we see Susan Dunkley of the United States also preparing. Dunkley, a really good shot at a medal here. Her form is undoubtedly good. The pressure of the World Championships may be a little much on her. Still came away with her most consistent World Championships despite not having a personal best at the World Championships. And watch for Kaisa Mäkäräinen here of Finland. She took a bronze medal in the final race in Oslo in the mass start. She'll be one to watch. But right now, the woman of the moment, it's been Gabriela Soukhalova all year, but Marie Duran-Haber in your shot is so hot off the World Championships. A medal in all 6 events. 2-time individual world champion, including the mixed relay added to it. And Olena Produshina, the world champion from 2013 in the sprint. She's always a threat in this 2 shooting stage competition. She's very fast on the course and clean on the shooting range. And then the red and yellow bib of Gabriela Soukhalova. can't help but feel for Sokolova coming away from the World Championships after such a successful season without a medal. So close. Twice fourth, once fifth. And that has to be weighing on her. Sometimes biathlon's one of those things. We see Christina Gutzek also with a shot today. She's been very good all year, been on the podium twice. But biathlon's one of those things. It's -7 Celsius, about 14 degrees Fahrenheit, same snow and air temperature, and that is pretty brisk compared to what the athletes have faced all year long. They've had no natural snow really to speak of, except for in Canmore and in Presque Isle. As we take a look at the course, climb to the high point, long gradual slow downhill to the low point, and then a big steep climb midway through the course and into the shooting range and finish. 3 laps, once from prone position, once from the standing position in the shooting. Each missed shot, 150-meter penalty loop. Things ready to go here in Khanty-Mansiysk. Here you get the start order. First 10 starters, Dorothea Veer really highlighting and Ekaterina Yurlova highlighting the first 10 starters. Then Dahlmeyer will go 11th. Watch for Marta Olsbu from Norway. She's fast, as is Dunkley. Dunkley going 15 for the United States. Makarainen will go bib 17. Marie Durand-Bear will go 19. Watch for Sokolova in bib 38. And just 2 Americans on the start. Claire Egan will get the start in bib 46 along with Susan Dunkley. The rest of the team has moved back to the United States for domestic competition and the national championships up in Fort Kent, Maine. Only 80 starters. I say only 80. It's still a big start list, but normally we're used to seeing start orders in the range of 100 starters, but the long trip to Khanty-Mansiysk after a taxing World Championships, I think most nations have decided to take B-team athletes or athletes still in it in the overall World Cup score for a final World Cup placing, so the field a little bit thinned out here in Khanty-Mansiysk. The race time in Khanty-Mansiysk approaching evening. Currently 7:15 in the evening local time, so it's a night race. The lights are on. We'll light up the targets. The night competition is becoming ever more popular in the IBU World Cup as they try to hit prime time in Central Europe. There you see Anne Bescon. Bescon will go out with bib number 3. Biathlon is such a big part of Russian culture, a sport for the proletariat, as they called it in the Soviet era. One of the biggest Olympic sports interests in winter sport during the Soviet era, and still wildly popular among the Russian public. Our first starter on the start is none other than Taya Grigorin. Grigorin, an Olympic medalist in Sochi, 3rd in the pursuit event after a 15th placing in this event, the sprint, 2 years ago. But Grigorin getting down to the end of her career at 35 years of age. Now a breakout skier for the Canadian team, Julia Ransom. Ransom has 2 top 20s this season, a 3 top 20s. She was 20th in the individual at the World Championships, 19th in both the pursuit and sprint in Antolz and Canmore. Ransom definitely a star of the future for Canada as they try to usher in new athletes to their national program. Our next starter is Anne Bescon. The French so strong in the World Championships. Bescon, the silver medalist in the individual competition. She finished 12th of the Worlds in this event, but she's showing good form. The French team peaking when it mattered in Oslo. Bescon will be the first of the French to take the course. Great crowd on hand here in Khanty-Mansiysk. Our next starter will get a big roar of the crowd. Ekaterina Yurlova, the elder stateswoman of the Russian team. She'll get things going for the home team. Yurlova on course. Really needs to be perfect on the shooting range to figure into it and have a great ski day. Russian women not having the most successful of world championships, and they're trying to change that trajectory here in front of a very partisan crowd. Yurlova, one win on the season, came from Antolz in the pursuit event. She was third in the sprint, so had 2 podiums in 1 stop in Antolz. She's a great glider. She gets her weight nice and forward. Doesn't get too choppy. One of the better technical skiers in the women's field, Yurlova is. It all depends on her fitness and how she's feeling. Our next starter, number 6 for the Ukrainian team, Irina Varvanets, currently ranked 31st in the overall World Cup. Her top personal performance coming from the Canmore World Cup, where she finished in the top 10 for the first time in her career. She was 8th in that event, but primarily a finisher in the 40s to 60s range in World Cup competition. And now really the flag bearer of the young Austrian team, 22 years of age, from Kitzbühel, Austria, better known for alpine skiing, but she decided to take up biathlon. Lisa Teresa Hauser, currently ranked in the top 20 in the world at just 22 years old. And that's a bright future for Austria. Has yet to get a podium in her career, has Hauser. Top performance coming this season with 2 8th places, 1 in Polkluka in the mass start and 1 8th place in Östersund in the first World Cup start in the individual. Our next starter, Justine Brissat. Brissat, just 19 years of age, still a junior competitor, and she's getting a lot of action on the World Cup. She was 12th in the mass start at the World Championships at just 19 years of age. Watch for Brissat to be a huge factor in the next 10 years for French women's biathlon. She will likely take the reins from Bescon and Dorin-Ambert. Just getting more experience for the young French woman. Back out on course. On lap 1, get the 0.9 kilometer time check. Yurlova just 4.5 seconds back. She's in second, but Bescon is flying already at 1 kilometer, leading by 5 seconds on the early runners. Here's someone that should challenge her. Dorothea Viera, the 3rd ranked biathlete in the world, on the start. Viera, 3 victories on the season. A silver medal at the World Championships in the pursuit. Just 25 years of age from the biathlon mecca of Antolz. 9 podiums so far, but she's going to have company out on the course because right behind her, 30 seconds back, Laura Dahlmeier. So dynamic, so easygoing. She's got a great demeanor for the sport of biathlon. She takes her victories in stride with her defeats. And you can just tell that she's got a great attitude towards the sport, which is really what you need in biathlon. If you're uptight and overly concerned about things, then the shooting can really unravel on you. But Dahlmeier seems to be able, even after a bad performance, to turn it around, kind of like the great Uschi Diesel. Diesel was so good at just shrugging off a bad performance, even under a huge scrutiny from the public. Dahlmeier seems to have that same ability. Paulina Fialkova, young 23-year-old from Slovakia. Currently ranked 35th in the world. Top performance this year. He has a top 10 in rope holding in the individual. So even at 23, you know, you see a lot of the big stars, but somebody like Fialkova could end up emerging in the coming years with just a great performance on a single day. And those individual performances, like a 7th place she had in rope holding, can really fuel your fire for the coming seasons and remind you that you can do it in this sport. The sport of biathlon, so up and down. Now back out at the 0.9 kilometer mark, it's Brissat, currently running 4th, 4.1 seconds back, virtually even with Yurlova. Baiba Bendika of Latvia has taken the lead over Anne Bescon. We didn't see Bendika start. She's young up-and-comer for Latvia. Now to the shooting range. First shooting, bib number 1, Tea Grigorin, currently only running 8th at the 0.9 kilometer if you go back out onto the course with 9 starters. So she'll shoot in the middle of the shooting range on point 15. Athletes usually choosing to shoot where or near where they zeroed their rifle before the competition. Little bits of wind, you see the red wind flags, nothing really to speak of. Shouldn't see any adjustments to the sights. Perfect shooting for Grigorin. Getting things started right in Khanty-Mansiysk as Julia Ransom comes in for Canada. Right behind her will be Bescon. So Bescon making up a lot of the stagger on Ransom. But Tea Grigorin will trip the times, check, pass the penalty loop. Perfect shooting, no trips around the penalty loop for Grigorin. Has been faster in past years. Grigorin likely running towards the end of her career at 35 years of age. And now the time of Bescon, the time to beat 7:38.4. She's got the time to do it if she shoots clean. Clearly skiing faster than Grigorin as we go to the start on the upper right-hand corner. Kaisa Mäkäräinen hitting the course with bib 17. Bescon's 4 for 4. And Bescon is clean, 5 for 5. Time to beat. Julia Ransom comes outside the time of Grigorin as Yurlova lays down bib 4 for Russia. We'll watch the time of Bescon in the lower right-hand side. Will she move? Yes, she moves well ahead of Tea Grigorin by 16 seconds, roughly. Oh, miss for Yurlova. First miss of the day. So Yurlova, despite skiing very fast in the first loop, having trouble now. You see Vladimir Drachev, former great biathlete, on the shooting range. Biba Bendica had the fastest time when she went through 0.9. That's been surpassed by Sharbatova and Veer of Czech and Italy, respectively, but Bendica starts with a miss. Marie Durand-Lambert on the start, number 19 for France. She will be the one to watch, along with Sukalova. One miss for Biba Bendica. That will put her out of the running. Now bib number 6 comes in. That is Irina Varvinets for Ukraine. Bendica into the penalty loop for one trip around. And now Varvinets, 23-year-old from the Ukraine, a 93% prone shooter, so one of the better prone shooters in the field for the season. She's got a really big bolting action. Almost comes out of position to bolt her rifle, but if you're used to doing it, it works, and it works for Varvinets. So good shooting so far from the prone position in Khanty-Mansiysk in the women's 7.5 kilometer sprint. Still nobody in the standing. Hauser with a good time, 7:21 the time to beat. Hauser not normally as fast as Bescon, but challenging her now. She's got 10 seconds to get to the time check. I don't think she's going to quite take the lead, but she's well within striking distance of Bescon. Now Bryson, 7:21.3, that of time of her teammate Bescon. Hauser in second, 5.1 seconds back. So it's Bescon from Hauser, then Varvinets. Another 10 seconds, 10.4 seconds back from Hauser. Bryson with a shot at taking the lead here. Don't think she's going to get inside the time of Bescon, but she could challenge Hauser for second. Nice solid shooting, and now Karin Oberhofer has struggled primarily from the standing position. She's an 81% prone shooter, 77% standing. Oberhofer with no podiums this season, but 3 top 10s. She's doing very well with the prone now. Her teammate on the range as well, Dorothea Vera, wearing bib 10. They're starting together, Oberhofer and Vera. Maybe they can work together to move amongst the leaders. Oberhofer will not get there in time to take the lead. In fact, she'll drop outside of fourth. So Dorothea Veer also clean from the prone position. Oberhofer will check the time first. She's 11.3 seconds out in fourth, but Veer now should take the lead by a lot. She's going to move into the lead by 8.1 seconds. So Dorothea Veer, no surprise, with a fast start. Now Dahlmeier's time, 6:50. She needs to beat 7:13.2. Dahlmeier, a 92% prone shooter. She's nearly flawless this season in prone. And there's a miss. So Dahlmeier will not figure into it early. It's Veer throwing down the best time with perfect shooting. Dahlmeier will load that miss. Remember, today's competition also sets up tomorrow's Saturday's pursuit for the women. The men will sprint tomorrow, and then both men and women will pursue on Saturday. Now Sharvatova, just 2 years in the sport of biathlon, relatively new. She's 23 years old, from the Czech Republic. Has her top finish this year so far, a 5th place in the sprint in Hochfilzen. It's her best performance of her career as well. Very short career. Sharvatova has proven she can ski. The key for her is the shooting. Just a 73% prone shooter and a 66% standing shooter. That's pretty normal for somebody new to the sport. She leaves with a miss, which dashes her chance of taking the lead. Czechs will be looking to Gabriela Sukalova for their leadership today. Marta Olsbu with a fast time, 6:41 lying down. That's quick. She's going to have to be clean. Olsbu skied in the top 3 the entire World Championships in Norway. Almost unknown because she missed a few too many shots to figure into it individually, but she was 12th in the sprint, or maybe it was 11th in the sprint with 2 misses, proving that she can ski fast. She's clean. She's got 10 seconds to get to the time check to overtake Veer. She may not do that, but still a lot of race left. Now Susan Dunkley from the United States. She's got a fast time as well. Both she and Olsbu laying down at about 6:40, and Dunkley with a miss. Dunkley, a 85% prone shooter, but those 2 misses put her down in the 60% range on the day. And that'll be painful for Dunkley, as that will put her out of the running. Now it's just a race for clean shooting from the standing position and a chance at the pursuit. So after 1 shooting stage, it's Dorothea Veer leading by 8.1 seconds over Anne Beskamp. One of the competitors who can clearly take that time down historically would be this woman right here, Kaisa Mäkäräinen. The Finn, the bronze medalist in the mass start of the World Championships, thought she was going to get stymied. And look at her time, 6:28 lying down, flying on the skis. Mäkäräinen actually behind Dunkley at the 0.9 kilometer mark at this point, running second, but Dunkley had a miss. Mäkäräinen needs to be perfect, and she can take a huge lead with perfect shooting. Great concentration. 5 for 5. Kaisa Mäkäräinen is all 5 shots down even before the 7 minutes has been eclipsed. She'll move into the lead ahead of Dorothea Veer. Now back to the standing. First standing shoot. Anne Beskamp. She's no misses yet. There's the first. Beskamp with a miss. That opens the door for the rest of the field. Beskamp running 3rd so far after prone. Behind Mäkäräinen and Veer. That penalty's going to cost her though. Still late starters. Duran Aubert as well as Gabriela Sukalova have yet to shoot. Here comes Duran Aubert now on a .4. Duran Aubert, the first lap, not even in the top 10 skiing. Time isn't very fast. She will not take down the time of Mäkäräinen, even if it was clean shooting. So that tells you how fast the Finn is skiing. Still with a shot at Veer, but shooting too slowly. So perhaps a little bit of a hangover for Duran Aubert off the World Championships. In the route holding last year in the sprint competition, even with a penalty, it tells you how fast she is when she's on. So Birkeland will go once around the penalty loop. Marie Duran Aubert went through the first shooting time check in 6th position, 13.7 seconds behind the time of Khanty-Mansiysk. Back to the shooting range now with Varvanets of Ukraine. She was perfect from the prone. Nobody yet perfect after standing except Taya Gregorian, but she's not skiing fast enough to figure into it. Varvanets shooting fast. There's a first miss for Varvanets. There's another one. So Varvanets will plummet down the results a bit. Even that bib 6, lots of people will fill in the time between her and the leaders as she goes twice around the penalty loop. Hauser sitting 8th after prone. Perfect from the prone. Lots of great prone shooting. Now but still nobody shooting perfectly standing. You can see wind in the hair of Hauser. That could mess with the shooting. Hauser's opportunity to maybe get on her first podium. Time of Bescant into the lead by 14.2 seconds after standing. Now to Oberhofer. And right behind her is Gabriela Sukalova, leaves the start gate, the world number 1. Oberhofer starts with a miss. She has company with Veer next to her on the range. Teammates dueling it out here in this sprint. Veer is 2 for 2, taking her time, resettling. So Oberhofer with 1 miss, about the standard so far today, but can Veer shoot clean? She does. Veer's time, 14:29. Trying to beat Braissant's time of 14:52.5. She's still got to get through the range and through the time check. It's going to be close. Dorothea Veer, will it be enough for a victory? Durant Aubert already with a miss, so there's a door open for Veer. She leads by 3.1 seconds with a lap to go. Can she outski the young 19-year-old from France to take the lead? We'll watch that story develop as Dahlmeier, with the 1 miss from the prone, now needs to put it together from the standing. Dahlmeier, a 93% standing shooter. One of the best shooters in the world. And she starts with a miss. Very uncharacteristic. Dahlmeier having all kinds of problems with shooting today. Oh, another miss. 3 misses already for Dahlmeier. And that'll be it for her. Something getting into the mind of Dahlmeier is Franziska Hildebrand, her teammate, 27. The 27 lays down from the prone position. Dahlmeier proving that the sport is not exactly what your statistics read. Dahlmeier, the best shooter in the world with 3 misses on the day, just 70% shooting, well below her average. Here's Paulina Fialkova now. Number 12, there's the first miss for her. She's going to run past the time of Veer and do 2 penalty loops. So Fialkova, looking for that elusive first podium, will not get it today. Lucy Sharvatova now on the range for the Czech Republic. She has 1 miss from the prone position. Has a good time though, but misses another. And another, Marta Olsbu, bib 14. 2 misses for Sharvatova. That'll plummet her down the standings, but Olsbu's time is great. Olsbu, 10 for 10. 14:49 the time to beat. She's going to be inside that time if she can giddy up and go. Veer had to ski all the way across the range just like Olsbu, but Olsbu trying to get her first individual podium with perfect shooting on the day. Here comes the time of Olsbu. 14:49.4 to beat. And she's going to be inside that time by a roughly 10 seconds, 10.3 seconds. Marta Olsbu trying to set a personal best. Being the fastest of the field is Mäkäräinen. At the finish, Anne Bescant, 1 penalty on the day, time to beat at the finish line, 21:19.3, 32 seconds faster than the clean shooting Gregorian of Slovenia. Kaisa Mäkäräinen and Marta Olsbu. Mäkäräinen in the penalty loop, Bescant in the finish with a penalty. But Marta Olsbu clean shooting, as has Dorothea Veer by 10 seconds. As we go back to the shooting range and the time of Akimova. Has a shot with clean shooting to take the lead. Mäkäräinen has gone through the shooting 2-stage check mark with 1 penalty. She's 6.5 seconds back of Olsbu. But they both have to deal with Akimova if she goes clean here. Durant Aubert on the range as well. Bibs 18 and 19 on the range. Akimova is clean, but she's already outside the time of Olsbu. Not likely to figure onto the podium unless she's got something left in the tank in the skiing. Durant Aubert has a miss. That's 2 misses on the day for Durant Aubert. So the enchanted World Championship two-time world champion with a miss on the day and not the most stellar skiing performance. Akimova 20 seconds back, now in 5th position. Now we'll look at Duran Albert going to the penalty loop. But at the finish, Ekaterina Yurlova outside, just inside the time of Bescon, excuse me, she's a minute slower, but moves into 3rd place. So Yurlova at the finish, into 3rd. That will not hold up, as a lot of time between her and the leader at the finish. Bescon. Number 5, Baiba Bendica at the finish line, trying to get in front of Julia Ransom. She'll do that. She'll move into 4th position. 2 penalties on the day. Still watching for Marta Olsbu and Kaisa Mäkäräinen on the course. And here's Justine Brissat at 34 seconds. Dorothea Viera now approaching the finish line. Viera was sitting 2nd behind Olsbu, looking very labored to say the least. So Viera, her form waning in the late stages of the season, and she may fall outside the time of Brissat. Brissat was 3 seconds behind, and she's reversed it. So Viera not with enough to take the lead, 3.6 seconds behind Brissat at the finish, despite leading her before the finish. Here comes Gabriela Sukalova out of the prone position. She's 9.4 seconds down to Kaisa Mäkäräinen in 3rd. Sukalova trying to get back on the podium. Does not look like Marie Duran-Albert will challenge for the Sprint Globe, as after shooting 1, I should say, Gabriela Sukalova is in 3rd, 9.4 seconds back. Miriam Gustner now. Very good time. She's clean prone. Gustner did not race at the World Championships in Oslo, didn't get a start for the German team. Trying to prove it, perhaps, that was a mistake. She's going to be close to the time of Mäkäräinen. Gustner can ski. Just 2.2 seconds back, so Miri Gustner, a 75 and 64% prone and standing shooter, respectively, into 2nd after the first shooting. Selena Gasparin now, mid-26, shooting from the standing position. She's perfect prone, has 1 miss standing, and that's going to not put her in contention for a medal, but maybe a top 10 to set her up for a shot in the pursuit on Saturday. Lots of action. Marta Olsbu now, leading after shooting 2, and she takes the lead at the finish by 19.4 seconds over Brissat. About the same ski performance as Brissat in the final loop. They were separated by 19 seconds after standing, and she comes in to the finish 19.4 ahead. So Olsbu, perfect shooting to lead at the finish. Dahlmeier across the line into 9th at the moment. A odd performance shooting for Dahlmeier with 3 penalties on the day. Well below her 90+% shooting in both disciplines for the season. So, regardless of where she ends up on the day, Dahlmeier will have her work cut out for her in the pursuit competition. Now Kaisa Mäkäräinen, the time to beat 20:47.1, that of Olsbu. She trailed by 6.5 seconds after the 2nd shooting stage. Wasn't enough on the last loop. She's got 25 seconds to get to the finish down the finishing stretch. It's going to be very close for the win. Well, potential win. Lots of competitors still on the course, but Mäkäräinen and Olsbu were knotted up by 6.5 second difference at the last shooting. 10 seconds to get to the line for Mäkäräinen. She's going to do it. Kaisa Mäkäräinen will take the lead by 4.8 seconds over Marta Olsbu despite a penalty. So Mäkäräinen proving that she's got the form to contend even with a miss. And that's got to feel good. Susan Dunkley now, 2 misses from the prone, perfect standing, trying to stay in the top 10. She'll move into 8th position, a minute 19 back of Mäkäräinen. Dunkley started fast, actually faster than Makarainen through the first times check, but 2 penalties, the difference. And a little bit of ski speed as well. Makarainen likes the cold conditions of Siberia, just like her home in Finland. Tachizaki now trying to take down the time of Dunkley, and she does, moves in little less than 2 seconds ahead of Dunkley with 1 miss on the day. Tachizaki having a great season for herself. Smile on her face. Tachizaki currently ranked 34th in the world. Number 18 now. Tatiana Akimova, currently ranked 51st in the world, and she's clean on the day. She'll move right ahead of Hauser, pushing Hauser down to 7th. 45 seconds back on the time of Makarainen. So still early going here in Khanty-Mansiysk. All the big favorites coming to the finish line, it seems, in succession. Marie Durand-Albert with a miss on the day. Will not figure into the podium picture. Now trying to take down Akimova. And she'll do that by just under 2 seconds. Durand-Albert into 6th. 1 minute, 1 miss on the day. Back to the shooting range. Olena Pedrushna. Story's not over yet for Olsbu and Makarainen. Pedrushna has yet to miss. Not quite skiing as fast as Olsbu. She resettles. Perfect shooting for Olena Pedrushna. Now it's down to the skiing as we go back to the finish line. Fanny Berkelin. Not going to be on the podium, just outside the time of Bescon at the finish. Berkelin into 8th position. 46.5 seconds back. Just 0.7 of a second behind Akimova of Russia, who was clean on the range. So your top 10 at the finish: Makarainen from Olsbu, from Brysau, Muir, Bescon, Durand-Albert, Akimova, Berkelin, Hauser, and Gregorin, your top 10. Berkelin has to feel good about being in the top 8 at the moment, despite a penalty. There's your top 10 again, just a recap. Makarainen, despite a miss, really finding the ski form today is Makarainen, who admittedly was flat during the World Championships. Maybe a little too much preparation, maybe just a little too tired. Sport's so fickle. You have to find a nice balance between the travel, the extensive travel these athletes do, keeping your fitness up for the season, and managing the stress of all the racing. The camera trying to find the red and yellow bib of Gabriela Sukolova. Coming in to shoot, she's 10.5 seconds back at the last time check. Time is good. 13:50, trying to beat 14:39. Clean shooting. Can Sukolova refine her mojo? And just like that, the mojo is back. Sukolova, so disappointed in the World Championships, no medals, but now threatening to take the World Cup finale sprint and put herself into the lead for the pursuit on Saturday. She will, if she stays on her feet and she gets tangled with a Russian competitor, that'll cost her, but she's still in good position to take the lead. And she does by 3.3 seconds. Gabriela Sukolova back on top of the world in biathlon after 2 shooting stages in the sprint. Just has to hang on, and she will sew up the crystal globe for the sprint competition and quite possibly for the overall. Such a fickle sport. Now Miriam Gussner, the only athlete who can really statistically challenge Sukolova, but that miss will do that effort in. 2 misses for Gussner. So Gussner, though challenging the time of Sukolova, will have to do 2 laps around the penalty loop. Selena Gasparin, not assaulting the podium, but the top 10 for Gasparin. She's got the work cut out for her just to stay in the top 10, as she's got 10 seconds to get to 9th and Hauser. She'll do that. But 53.5 seconds back in the finish is Gasparin. A solid performance, setting her up well for the pursuit. At the finish, another of the Germans, Franziska Hildebrand, number 27. Currently ranked 6th in the World Cup. She's going to finish just outside her ranking in 7th. 44.9 seconds in arrears. Mäkäräinen continues to lead at the finish by 4.8 seconds over Marta Olsbu. What a couple of weeks it has been for Marta Olsbu. She's found her form, and she puts the two together with great skiing and perfect shooting to sit comfortably in second place ahead of Julie Braissat of France. Or Justine Braissat, I should say. Anna Sherbina of Russia, one of the later starters with 71. Back to the finish, Franziska Preuss. A solid performance with one miss on the day. She moves ahead of Beskan, the Golden Girl of Oslo, and Preuss into the top 5. No Germans on the podium, but 2 in the top 10 now as Preuss and Hildebrand are in positions 5 and 8. Number 44, Kristina Gutzek, has been on the podium twice this year. Could she do it again? She's got the time, 14:35.8 the time of Sokolova. She could even take the lead with clean shooting, but there's the miss. One miss for Gutzek. Skiing fast, not quite fast enough to take the lead even clean, but that penalty loop will cost her, trying to move into the top 10 and position herself for the pursuit on Saturday. That's Gutzek in the white and red suit, leaving the range. Gabriela Sokolova leads after 2 shooting stages. Dorothy Verlainen comes in for the home nation in 13th position at the moment. Watching out on course. Watching the time checks as Scardino is perfect so far on the day. She's not going to challenge Sokolova or Olsbu. Or likely Mäkäräinen. She's got not 5 seconds to get to the time check, which is going to be outside that time. But Scardino with perfect shooting, trying to move in the top 10. Great shooting on the day. Despite a miss, Mäkäräinen leads at the finish, but everybody else but her and Preuss and Hildebrand have a miss on the day. I should say Berkelen 2 and 10th, but I don't think that those times are going to stand with more and more clean shooters coming through the time check. Now Petrushna, she will not figure into the podium picture as well. Petrushna perfect on the day. She's going to fall outside the time of Preuss and just inside the time of Beskan. She'll move into 6th position. Petrushna at the finish into 6th. Mäkäräinen, Olsbu, Braissat, Beer, Preuss, and Petrushna, your top 6. Beskan has dropped to 7th now. Duran Albert still hanging on to 8th. Hildebrand in the 9th, and Akimova of Russia in 10th. Here's the time check. 5.9 kilometers. As she held on the lead, she led Marta Olsbu by 4.6 seconds, but remember, Mäkäräinen had a spectacular last loop, and it may not be enough. 19:26.3 the time to beat. She's just 2.2 seconds inside the time of Mäkäräinen. She's going to get that information. She knows it's tight for the win with Mäkäräinen. Despite perfect shooting, Mäkäräinen has been spectacular on the skis for the Finns. Nearing the stadium now. Sokolova, 2.2 seconds back of Mäkäräinen. Can she turn it around? She doesn't have much time to get to the finish. Trying to hang on. Trying to change her luck. Medalist at the Worlds. Into the final turn. Mäkäräinen was spectacular on the skis. Sokolova did it on the shooting range. She looks very tired. I'm not sure that 2.2 second lead is going to hold up after that big climb and the finishing stretch. 20:42.3 the time to beat. She's inside 10 seconds. She needs to get there fast. And it looks like Mäkäräinen may hold on. Mäkäräinen will hold on. Sukalova does not have enough to take the lead. She'll take second though. Kaisa Mäkäräinen very likely has just won the World Cup finale in the sprint in a spectacular finish with Gabriela Sukalova. You can see it in the finishing stretch, the closing meters tying up, and the picture here shows it all as well. Absolute exhaustion after a spectacular season. Trying to take another win was Sukalova. Trying to make it her 6th win on the season, but she is denied in the final meters by a hard-charging Kaisa Mäkäräinen, despite one miss on the day. Still a lot of competitors on the course, could be some surprises, but really, if you look at the start list, it looks like Kaisa Mäkäräinen has sewn up a victory in the women's sprint in Khanty-Mansiysk. Number 39, Anastasia Zakharyuko. Not a common name on the start of the World Cup for the Russians. Getting just her 7th start on the season. Zakharyuko trying to move ahead of her teammate Virolainen into the top 15, and she's going to do it. She'll supplant Virolainen into 15th position at a minute back. So Kaisa Mäkäräinen has done it again. Found the form. She said earlier in Presque Isle that she likes the cold temperatures when it was nearly illegal race temperatures as Gussner comes across the line. Now 2 penalties for her, 55 seconds back, showing that Gussner can ski fast, skiing quite well. In the 14th position with 2 missed shots. She's the first on the leaderboard with 2 penalties. Really great shooting by the field. As you watch Dubarajava of Belarus. Outside the time of Sukalova, now going to very quickly be outside the time of Mäkäräinen while still shooting. So Dubarajava trying to hopefully stay in the top 10. A good shooting performance for her. Perfect shooting. Lots of zeros on the shooting today. Sukalova's clean. Olsbu, Brysa, Vera, Petrushna, Akimova, all clean. Yulia Jima in the 22nd for Ukraine. Jima, normally a little better shot than the 2 misses she had today. You really have to be on your game shooting in this Khanty-Mansiysk sprint. Dubarajava into 14th, 35 seconds back, and that tells you how tight it is. 35 seconds in the first 14 competitors. Looking at the start order, not a lot of potential threats to Mäkäräinen, Sukalova, and Olsbu on the podium. Vishnevskaya of Kazakhstan into 27th. Solid performance for the Kazakh athlete. Scardino now. Nadezhda Scardino trying to charge into the top. Actually, this is Dubarajava. No, this is Scardino, excuse me. Nadezhda Scardino trying to move in the top 10 ahead of Duran Albert, and that is a good performance by her. She moves ahead of Albert, pushing Duran Albert into 10th. We thought Duran Albert might challenge for the overall globe this weekend, but the magic of Oslo a little bit out of the legs of the Frenchwoman. Aita Gasparin. Outside the time of Sukalova. As the field winds down, the top competitors all have started early. So really, unless completely surprising, Mostly looking at late field top 10s for a good performance. Aika Gasparano with a 9 for 10 shooting performance. Going to fall outside the top 10 at the moment. But Kaisa Mäkäräinen has to feel spectacular about her victory over the clean shooting Sukalova. Outskiing the field by a lot. Nadine Harkler, one of the late starters, shooting from the prone position, getting some experience for the German program. Harkler, no World Cup starts this year, so she's getting her first chance at a World Cup. She's skiing well, but one miss on the prone position. A lot of nations take the opportunity in these final World Cups when some of the top athletes are tired and ready to call it a season after a long World Championships. They stay home, and the younger developing athletes get a nod to start. That's the case for Nadine Harkler. Looking back at the shooting of Kaisa Mäkäräinen. It wasn't the shooting that did it. She shot well enough. It was just enough. A miss from the standing position threatened to thwart her chances at the win. As did Gabrielle's World Cup previous best by 4 places. And Marta Olsbo will long remember the 2016 season and this World Cup top 3. Her first podium as an individual competitor. Hildebrand 11th, Akimova 12th, Birkeland 13th. Gasparin 14th, Gusner 15th. Number 65, Céline Aymonier. Her time will not contend for a victory. Has a miss from the prone position already. Aymonier, just 24 years of age, currently ranked 45th in the World Cup. Will add another miss to the prone she had prone. And missing her final shot as well. So 70% shooting for Aymonier, that'll drop her down the standings. A little congratulations to Kaisa Mäkäräinen from the world #1, Gabriela Sukalova. But still, second place for Sukalova, proving she's still got it. Still her worst finish on the year. She's been in the top 10 in every individual competition this season except one. Worst finish for Sukalova so far, 11th place in the World Championship pursuit. Unbelievable consistency by the Czech athlete. Some people looking for one top 10 in an entire career. Gabriela Sukalova has done nothing but top 10 except for one disappointment in the World Championships. Lots of flags, lots of countries being cheered for here in this Khanty-Mansiysk stadium. Dubarajava of Belarus did 55. Perfect shooting day. Struggling a bit on the skis, though, will not finish in the top 10. 31 years of age from Vitebsk. And she'll move across the line just behind Hauser and in front of Zagoryuko into 17th place. Shumilova of Russia into 33rd, one penalty on the day. A difficult ski performance for her, despite just one miss on the shooting range. And Svetlana Sleptsova, who got tangled with Gabriela Sukalova, 2 penalties on the day. She will finish 256 back in 51st. Russian program struggling a little bit to be in the top of the world. Something they'll have to reconsider their development for the coming season. And from South Korea, number 69, Haji Moon. Her country will host the next Olympic Games. She's clean shooting on the day. A top 30 for her would actually be a great performance. Moon has not finished better this season than 70th, or 68th, excuse me. So right now, Moon having her best performance of the season and giving South Korea a little bit of hope as they get ready for the 2018 Olympic Winter Games in 2 years' time. Less than 2 years now. Shcherbina, number 71. 2 penalties out of 3 already from the standing position. Getting her first World Cup start of the year. She'll finish the day with an 80% shooting effort. Shcherbina 2 times around the penalty loop. Things winding down here in the final World Cup sprint of the year. The Crystal Globes will be handed out here in Khanty-Mansiysk for the World Cup leaders in each discipline and the overall. Aida Gasparin, number 59, from Switzerland, trying to stay in the World Cup points. Top 40 receive World Cup points. Currently challenging the time of Yurlova in 30th with 100 meters to the finish. Gasparin has 4 spots to stay in the points. 59 of 80 competitors on the start. The fall outside the time of her teammate Hackney. And into 40th, right on the money. Still more competitors out on course, so they get pushed down, but currently in the points. Number 60 from the young Swedish team. Ingela Andersson, 24 years of age, from Östersund, the first World Cup stop of the season, already back in November of 2015. Seems like a long time ago. Andersson, one of the young Swedish team under the tutelage of Wolfgang Pickler, who has coached in Germany, not the national team, but has long coached the Swedes. Kaja Nikolaisen now into the top 40. She'll move into 36th position. 36th for Nikolaisen. She'll be happy to know that her teammate Marta Olsbu at the finish is on the final run of the podium with a perfect shooting score. Back to the Swedes though. Ingela Andersson at 50th. Wolfgang Pickler trying to whip a young team of Swedes back into shape. I think if you watch over the next few years, expect some great things from the young Swedish team. They've already sparkled at times relatively to their age and their experience level. Pickler always finding a way to get the most out of his athletes. Kistanova, number 62 of Kazakhstan, trying to get into the top 50 at the finish. 25 years of age from Lysakovsk, Kazakhstan. Currently ranked 87th in the world. She's going to do better than that today. She'll be 52nd currently at the finish. So things winding down in Khanty-Mansiysk. Fialkova, one of 2 Fialkovas on the start. This is Ivona Fialkova, the younger of the 2, 21 years of age, from Cherny Balog, Slovakia. She moves in to 45th, just outside the World Cup points. Just her 10th World Cup start. Here in Khanty-Mansiysk, she's got to feel good about getting that opportunity. Today, it was Finland with the win. Kaisa Mäkäräinen, despite a mistake on the range, blistering on the skis to take the victory by just 3.1 seconds over world number 1 Gabriela Sukarova. Finland really much more getting some congratulations from her teammate. That was Auli Kiskola. Back to the shooting of Ilchenko. And Florica. 2 misses for Ilchenko. 2 for Florica reacting. A bit exasperated with that missed shot. But as we were saying, Finland really a rabid cross-country ski country. They just had a surprise win at the Ski Tour Canada in Canmore with Matti Heikkinen winning the 15-kilometer freestyle. And Heikkinen really an up and down skier. Mäkäräinen, turns out she's fairly up and down too. She had a fairly flat ski performance.